Well, good morning, guys. It's Pastor Andy. Today's Sunday, July the 12th, and we're still in Psalm 119, and today we're looking at verse 41 down to verse 48. As we continue in Psalm 119, here in this section, we see the emphasis is placed on walking and talking. And while I'm not talking about raising children and teaching them to walk, which is a great thing to do, to watch children learn to walk and, then learn to talk and hearing the words that they say, and we're experiencing that in our house with Joey, repeating everything and talking up a storm. And it seems like the first 2 years of life we teach them to stand up and talk, and then the rest of their life we keep telling them to sit down and shut up. But I'm just kidding, that was just a joke. But here the emphasis is placed on walking and talking. Let's look at it together. Let's start in verse 42, or let's start in verse 41. God, give me your unfailing love, the salvation that you promised me. Then I can answer those who taunt me, for I trust in your word. I can give an answer. I can talk. I can speak. Do not snatch your word of truth from me, for your regulations are my only hope. I will keep on obeying your instructions forever and ever. I will walk in freedom. Verse 46, I will speak to kings about your law. Here we've got God speaking, then the enemy speaking, then Christians speaking to God, our lives speaking, and then Christians speaking to other Christians. There's a lot of walking and talking going on in this chapter. But the thing about all of this is, our walk and our talk have to match. In other words, I can't live my life one way and say I believe something else, because what we believe affects the way we live. What I believe determines the way that I live. It does in every area. If I believe God and I say I'm a Christian, it should affect the way that I live my life. There's an old preacher who used to say, your walk talks and your talk talks, but your walk talks louder than your talk talks. And that's very confusing, but it's very true. While what we say does matter, the way we live matters more, because it's louder than what we say. People see the way we live, and that speaks volumes. I can say I'm a Christian, but if I don't live like it, nobody's going to believe me, because the way I live speaks louder than what I say. So I have to be careful the way I live my life. I have to be careful the way I treat my neighbors. This last week was the 4th of July, and we had a neighbor's firework fall over, shoot over and hit our house about 2 or 3 feet from Joey's bedroom window, bounced down on the car, kind of scorched some stuff. And I'll be honest, when I first walked outside and saw it, I got a little bit ticked. And I didn't say anything to anybody, but I saw this huge mark on the side of our house that we just bought, and this thing on the car. And then I stopped and thought, what if that firework had been a couple of feet over to the right? It could have hit my son's window, would have broke my son's window, and would have come straight in and hit the wall right over his crib, and could have fallen down and lit his crib on fire, his bed. And I got a little bit scared. And I honestly got a little bit ticked off, even more so. And I'm thinking, man, what in the world are people thinking? They're idiots with these fireworks. And while they're fun to watch, they're dangerous, and people aren't careful. And then you add in people drinking with them and all that. And I was just mad. And I had to stop, and I had to think, wait a minute. I could be upset about this, or I could be happy that God protected my son. God protected our home. It didn't catch on fire. It didn't break my son's window. Didn't hurt him while he was sleeping right inside that room. And I had to stop and say, you know what? I'm not going to lash out at neighbors who aren't believers and prove to them that all us Christians are just angry, mean people. Instead, I need to show the love of Christ. I need to be thankful to God for his protection, and I need to love my neighbors as I do myself. I cut myself a lot of slack. I give myself a lot of grace. And I need to do that for others. So I have to be careful the way I treat my neighbors. I have to be careful the way I treat people at work. Got to be careful how I treat other Christians, because my walk talks louder than my talk talks. So as we go through today, and as we go through this week, and as you go through life, let's be careful that our walk matches our talk, that we are living like Christians. I hope you'll get into this chapter, see what God has for you. And until tomorrow, God bless you, and have a great day.